Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today's June 14th of 2021. Over the weekend, we got news about a mass shooting in downtown Austin, where 13 were reported injured. Now that number has varied in the following days, but all day they've been reporting 13 dead. Now just today, we learned that one of the victims has allegedly died, and this article was published today. We'll take a look at this as well. We start off with the fact that this news made headlines on June 12th, which was a date with primary numerology of 59, 6 plus 12 plus 20 plus 21. This is the reduction value of both downtown Austin and entertainment district, or entertainment, as that's where the shooting went down, in downtown Austin's entertainment district. Now, the number 59 is a prime number. That would be the 17th prime number. The word kill has gematria of both 59 and 17 exhibiting this connection. This shooting fell 17 days after the major May 26th lunar eclipse. And notice how the word shooting in the standard alphabetic order has gematria of 107, which represents the number 17. But whenever we see news from the city of Austin, Texas, we know that there's a connection to the Jesuit order, which has the same values in 3 of the 4 base ciphers. Furthermore, the city of Austin on its own sums to 84, 21, 78, and 42, syncing up with the word Jesuit. Measuring to the Jesuit anniversaries, or the Jesuit order's anniversary, which falls on September 27th, this shooting fell 107 days before that date. In regards to this major May 26th lunar eclipse, I've been talking about this for months as the gematria of a verse in Revelation that mentions both a solar and lunar eclipse is 526 and 221, much like the date of this year's lunar eclipse. And the last time I made a post about a mass violence incident in Austin, Texas was back on January 3rd of 2020. And measuring from that date to the date of this shooting was 526 days. Now it's worth noting that that last stabbing incident, January 3rd, 2020. Well, January 3rd is the date written 1/3. And the number 13 was highly significant in this event as well. Again, we were told that 13 people were injured throughout the course of the day. Consider that this shooting happened on 6th Street, and the 6th prime number is 13. On top of that, in gematria, 6th Street equals 130. And isn't it interesting that gunfire erupted at 1:30 in the morning, representing another 13. Back in 2019, the state of Texas saw one of the deadliest mass shootings in American history when 19 people were allegedly killed at an El Paso Walmart. Again, this shooting also occurring under the watch of Governor Greg Abbott. From that El Paso shooting to the shooting in Austin was 1 year, 313 days, or 2 more 13s. And whenever we talk about the number 13, we're often talking about the moon. Of course, the word moon, having an M and an N, M the 13th letter in ordinal, N the 13th in reverse, and of course the moon with matching gematria with 13, the number of lunar phases every couple of years. In gematria, there's this significant cipher called satanic gematria, and this is built around the number 666, which is the value of satanic gematria in that cipher. Well, notice how the word moon gives us this value of 197, and this is another significant number to this event. Look at how the phrase downtown shooting sums to 197 in the reverse alphabetic order. Well, this is the reverse gematria as well with matches Metonic cycle and 19 years. And the Metonic cycle is what's often considered to be the most significant cycle of the moon. Notice how Metonic cycle has matching 668 Gematria with the mayor of Austin, Steve Adler. In the Metonic cycle, to go along with the 19 years, this is also a period of 235 lunar phases. And notice how the phrase downtown shooting sums to 235 in the alphabetic order. Measuring from the date that Mayor Steve Adler took office to the date of the shooting was a span of exactly 2,350 days. On top of that, Governor Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, had assumed office 2,335 days ago. Now, Governor Greg Abbott is heavily coded with the moon. He was born in the year 57 and then became governor at the age of 57 in the year 15. Well, the word moon equals both 57 and 15. The name Abbott also 15. But notice how Greg Abbott's full name has triple gematria of 223. And this is another highly significant number to the moon, whose Saros cycle has 223 synodic months. This is also known as the Eclipse cycle. And think about how in my last video, where we talked about a mass shooting at a Publix supermarket in Florida, on the date of that shooting, Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida was a span of exactly 2,230 weeks old. And now in this shooting, look at the age of Governor Greg Abbott, 23,223 days old. Remember, we also linked this to the El Paso shooting through the number 13. Well, on the date of the El Paso shooting, Greg Abbott was 3,220 weeks and 3 days old for another 223. Furthermore, the name Abbott summing to 612, just like the date of the shooting in Texas. Now, I have to give another shout out to Bobby Simpson, who warned me the day before the shooting that there would probably be a shooting on this date. And what really stands out here is that he mentioned how this shooting, June 12th, fell 1,214 days after the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting, the major Parkland school shooting in 2018. And it's very interesting to me that we ended up with a shooting in Texas, because in my post about the Santa Fe school shooting in the state of Texas, I mentioned how Governor Abbott was in office for 1,214 days. And this number keeps showing up in school shootings. Think about the Sandy Hook shooting, which occurred on December 14th or 12/14. The Stoneman Douglas shooting occurred with most fatalities, allegedly, in room 1214, right? And then 1,214 days later, we get a shooting in Texas, or 1,214 days after Greg Abbott takes office. What also stood out is that the shooting was 8 years, 181 days after the Sandy Hook shooting. And when we look at the history of school shootings, there was actually a major school shooting in Austin. This was technically the first major school shooting back in 1966, occurring on the date August 1st or 8/1. And now this mass shooting in Texas occurring 8 years, 181 days after the Sandy Hook shooting. So now today we learned that one of the victims has allegedly died. And notice how they put the word suffered in quotes. And the word suffered equals 84 and 42, syncing up with the gematria of Austin, 84 and 42. But what's so strange about this man is his gematria. His name is Douglas John Cantor, and he was the age of 25. With capital letters, Austin, Texas equals 205, And check out the name Douglas John Cantor in the alphabetic order 205. On top of that, the name Douglas equals 25, and the name Cantor also equaling 25. 25, the Gematria of death, by the way. Now, the name Cantor, also with this 79, 83, and 38, syncing up with murder, 79 and 38, just like Douglas. His common name, Doug Cantor, sums to 144, which is the value of Austin, Texas. They're saying that he died at 12:01 p.m., and this is one of those things where it's really not necessary for the news to report it. The time of death. You know, they could have just said this man died and that would have been plenty. But they had to give us an important number. And the number 1201 is a prime number. And we see here 1201 is the 197th prime number. And remember, this is a number I focused on in my post. We talked about how moon equals 197, just like downtown shooting. This shooting a tribute to the Metonic cycle, as shown through the numerology of the mayor of Austin. All right, guys, that'll wrap this video up. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Please feel free to share, like, and subscribe. We'll talk to you next time. See ya.